I always love a good anthology film. If you've never seen one, an anthology is a feature consisting of several different short pieces often connected through some common idea or theme. The 1995 film Memories takes a bit of a different spin on the typical anthology, however, offering 3 unique, totally unconnected stories with individual themes rather than some overarching core message. Everything about these stories, from the tone to the animation, is different from each other. Of course, the first thing that should jump out to you about Memories is the name Katsuhiro Otomo, the mind behind Akira, both the manga and the film. For Memories, Otomo serves as the producer, director of the 3rd episode, and writer of the 3 manga short stories each part was based off of. With Otomo at the helm and a slew of other big names in the industry not far behind, Memories is a 90s title you do not want to miss. Because of its unique structure, this review is going to be a little bit different. Instead of doing the usual story, characters, blah blah blah, I'm going to break it down into the individual stories, starting with the first, Magnetic Rose, and moving through to the end. So with that, today, under the scope, I take a look at Memories, the 1995 anthology film from industry legend Katsuhiro Otomo. Magnetic Rose is simply impressive. It's near perfect in so many ways, from the animation to the story and writing, which shouldn't come as a surprise seeing as how Satoshi Kon did the script. It's a science fiction story that offers a haunting tale of love and the unwillingness to let go of the past. The story follows a group of space junk collectors as they stumble across a strange space station after receiving an SOS call. Upon entering, they're welcomed to a luxurious classical interior once owned by a famed opera singer named Ava. As they move in deeper and deeper, they become more and more engulfed in the world of Ava's memories, quickly twisting this piece into a thrilling ghost story. Magnetic Rose does just about everything right. In only 40 minutes, it creates a haunting and incredibly intriguing world that's one part mystery and one part terrifying. It's a beautiful piece in the most ominous way imaginable, reminding me of the classic Ghost Ship story, only done really, really well. It definitely messes with your mind a bit, constantly calling into question what's real and what's not in this nightmarish funhouse of Ava's past. The art direction is simply stunning, which, again, surprise surprise, guess who served as art director? Satoshi Kon. The attention to detail, inventive camera angles, and technically brilliant look and feel makes Magnetic Rose an absolute marvel of animation. Consider this came out in 1995, and it looks this good. Magnetic Rose is truly a testament to how there's more to animation quality than simply aesthetic. The scenes in space in particular demonstrated just how impressive it was, using the lack of gravity to provide unique shots we wouldn't get otherwise. We immediately get a feel for the characters through their interactions with anti-gravity. Within minutes, we feel like we know each one, which was a crucially important detail for the film to establish so quickly due to the limited runtime. None of that is even mentioning the sound, composed by Yoko freaking Kanno. If this is beginning to sound like the starting roster of the anime industry's all-star team, that's probably because it is. The music is mostly operatic and heavily involved with the story, perfectly reflecting the intense nature of the film. The singer who provides the voice of Ava is breathtaking, and Kanno's composition does more than simply complement the piece, it makes it. Her music usually has that effect. Ava's desire to re-experience the best years of her life in an effort to right the wrongs of her past gives us a harrowing message about the dangers of refusing to let go. Living in the past is enough to drive a person mad. Ava serves as a literal representation of this past, trying to suck our 2 main characters into its clutches. And while some may resist, others aren't able to so easily avoid the trap. Reliving the past may seem like an escape to a better time, but all it'll really do is make a man insane. Ava's final wish comes at great cost to not just her own mental state, but those around her as well. Everything about Magnetic Rose's story oozes intrigue, and the ultimate payout is more than satisfactory. It answers enough questions for it to make sense, but leaves enough up to viewer interpretation to make it stick. It's not only the best Memories has to offer, but is simply put a masterpiece of a film, and one that should not be ignored. Stink Bomb takes a completely different route than Magnetic Rose, replacing the intense, thrilling space piece with a black comedy that offers up great satire on the overall stupidity of humanity. If there's one thing you can take away from it, it's that mankind is sure to be the cause of its own undoing. Stink Bomb follows a foolish young chemical researcher, whose qualifications you'll definitely want to double check, named Nobuo Tanaka, who accidentally triggers an apocalyptic event, all because he should have taken the blue pill, damn it. In all seriousness, after taking what he thought to be cold medicine, he wakes up to find everyone in the hospital dead. Panicked, he rushes out to deliver the experimental drug to headquarters in Tokyo. Of course, Nobuo, being the blithering idiot that he is, doesn't make the connection that he is in fact the one causing all the chaos and merrily continues on his way down the yellow brick road while society literally crumbles all around him. As Nobuo makes his way to Tokyo, he has entire armies trying to stop him by whatever means necessary, hurling laughably massive waves of missiles at him, all to no avail, leading up to a hilarious conclusion that of course had the Americans thinking they could bust in and save the day with their spacesuits, freedom, and apple pie. The whole point of Stink Bomb is to ridicule humanity's foolishness in a humorous, over-the-top way. I know some are going to criticize it for Nobuo's frankly unbelievable stupidity, however, I can't really imagine it any different. The comedy wouldn't work as well if Nobuo weren't such a dysfunctional, dense human being. All it takes is one oblivious idiot to quite literally end the world, and there's nothing a room full of trigger-happy army guys can do about it. It's a brilliant show of the utter ineptitude inherent to human nature. The animation, done by Madhouse, is a clear notch below either of the other two pieces in Memories, as it doesn't have the technical quality of Magnetic Rose, the unique style of Cannon Fodder, or the amazing art direction of either. It definitely looks the most dated, but is still good enough to not lessen the experience in any way. The music, on the other hand, is great and perfectly appropriate as the jazzy, funky tunes expertly match the film's chaotic but comedic tone. If I had to draw a comparison, Stink Bomb is essentially Dr. Strangelove the anime. For the uninitiated, Dr. Strangelove is also a black comedy, satirizing the Cold War and the notion of how quickly people can unravel and blow shit up. Stink Bomb's problem, then, isn't in any of its characters or the tone. It's that it just isn't as clever or funny as Dr. Strangelove. Don't get me wrong, it definitely had its hilarious moments, in particular the military's attempt to bomb Nobuo into the stratosphere and the film's ultimate punchline. However, they were just that, moments. It's great satire and certainly worth the 40 minutes or so of your time, but requires a very large amount of suspension of disbelief and simply fails to match the atmosphere or impact of Magnetic Rose, all in all making it the weakest of the bunch, and certainly the least memorable. Cannon Fodder offers an evocative glimpse into a society run by war. There's no complicated plot at work here. It's simply a day in the life of a family in this society, from the father who slogs through his job as a cannon loader, mechanically going through the motions, to the naive kid who wishes to someday be the one to fire the cannon. By the end of it all, there's a feeling of overwhelming exhaustion, with the dread of knowing the process will start anew the very next day. Cannon Fodder touches upon nearly every negative aspect of a fascist society you could think of. There's the clear propaganda effort to paint the leader into some sort of demigod, when in reality, he's just a clunky little fat man. The kid, of course, doesn't see this, as he's been warped into thinking this is all somehow positive. His hero worship of the leader, especially at the film's conclusion, feels like the ultimate loss for this society, the final nail in the coffin, when their future is brainwashed into this warmongering worldview. It's a powerful message on the inherent wrongness of war and blindly following orders. The workers toil through this misery simply because some guy in a fancy getup told them to, and nothing else. We never even catch a glimpse of the actual enemy. In fact, we can't say for sure if there really even is one, giving the whole effort a feeling of meaninglessness. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Either way, it makes no difference to these workers. Cannon Fodder doesn't portray a battle between opposing armies or lands, it presents a factory. Not unlike any other big industry factory, only this one doesn't produce cars or textiles. It produces war. Nothing more, nothing less. No one questions it or tries to stop it. They all just continue to march along, simply following their orders. Really, the title says it all. These people are truly cannon fodder. Their only purpose in life is to fire cannons to the point where it's become a ritualistic, machine-like process. It has a very Orwellian vibe to it, thanks in part to the dystopian setting. What really makes Cannon Fodder great, however, is the art and animation. The entire world has a depressing, dark look to it. Otomo captures the bleak atmosphere perfectly, with steampunk elements woven throughout. Nearly every building has some sort of cannon sticking out, all aimed towards this invisible enemy. Dirty pipes and cables run everywhere, and there's an overall drab gray tint to everything. The characters themselves look hardly human, with their gray skin and sunken eyes. You can see SS symbols and topography that resembles Cyrillic everywhere, a clear dig at both fascist and communist society. The detail in the art is really incredible, but it's Otomo's direction that sets it apart. What he's able to pull off in just 40 minutes is nothing short of amazing. It's one of the most brilliant, flawless pieces of direction I've ever seen in anime. Hell, it's so good you might not even notice just how great it is. The entire movie, yes, all of it, is one continuous sequence. He never cuts away at any point, instead moving from one ingenious transition to the next to change between shots. Think about that for a moment. He gives us 40 minutes of this society, mainly told through the perspective of 3 different people doing completely separate things, and it's all one long take that perfectly immerses you into this nightmarish world. Katsuhiro Otomo is truly a visionary who always seems to strive to do more with his work, to break free from convention. That's never more evident than here in Cannon Fodder, as his avant-garde style creates an impressive dystopian society that lives off war. Cannon Fodder may not reach the heights of Magnetic Rose, but it's still a great piece and a hell of a way to wrap up this anthology. I went into Memories expecting some sort of overall narrative to tie the 3 pieces together. After Magnetic Rose, I thought surely this idea would be, well, memories. However, there really isn't anything there. They really are 3 standalone features complete with their own unique atmosphere, message, and tone. Hell, you theoretically don't even have to watch all 3 if there's one that doesn't interest you. You could skip one and it wouldn't take anything away from the others. However, I would certainly not recommend doing so. All 3 films that make up Memories offer a fantastic experience, whether it be in the entertainment value of Stink Bomb, the impact of Cannon Fodder, or the complete package in Magnetic Rose. These short films should not be ignored, and are all easily worth 40 minutes of your time. So with that, I award Memories an approval rating of watch, and a definite recommendation to do so. If I had to give individual scores to each film, I'd go with a 7 out of 10 to Stink Bomb, an 8 to Cannon Fodder, and a 9 to Magnetic Rose. Average it out, and let's go with 4 dumbass Nobuos out of 5. From my vantage point, Memories seems to be tragically overlooked by a good portion of the anime community. It's truly an impressive piece of art that's got some of the biggest, brightest names in the industry attached to it, from Satoshi Kon and Yoko Kanno to Katsuhiro Otomo himself. If nothing I've said has been enough to convince you, just listen to those names, do yourself a favor, and go watch it. If you're looking for something similar to Memories, I point you towards 2 more of Otomo's works. First, the obvious Akito. This is an absolute must-watch for anyone who calls themselves a fan of anime, as Akito is one of the most influential works of all time. Second, let's go with Neo Tokyo for another anthology film with 3 more totally unrelated stories. Otomo wrote and directed the 3rd piece, if you're interested. And that's all for me. For an explanation of the rating system, look in the description. If you're feeling particularly generous and want to help me make better content, please consider checking out my Patreon page. Any help goes a long way. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to follow me on Twitter at UTS Reviews. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.